Things are happening in this country. Things are happening in Africa. Let me begin with domestic issues. Number one, and top of the agenda, is this one that I'm reading from City Newsroom. And this one, my brother, my sister, was published today, Wednesday, the 4th day of November, 2020. It says, we will deal with troublemakers on election day. IGP warns. I read, the Inspector General of Ghana Police Service, James Opong Buenu, has warned that his outfit will not spare persons who foment trouble on election day. He said, security services are very familiar with the laws, and every person or group of persons who fall foul to of the law will be dealt with. Opong Buenu said this when he addressed the press on Wednesday, that's today, the 4th of November 2020. Now, the Inspector General of Police disclosed that a total of 62,794 security personnel will be deployed to provide security for the 2020 general elections. He said they will comprise police officers, military officers, and, of course, personnel from the Ghana Immigration Service, Ghana Fire Service, Ghana Revenue Authority, amongst others. 62,794 security personnel from the Ghana Police Service, the Ghana Fire Service, the Ghana Prison Service, the Ghana Immigration Service, the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority, and the Ghana Armed Forces are being deployed for the elections. All the personnel I've mentioned would be in their regular uniforms, with the exception of officers from the Criminal Investigations Department of the Police Service and the Bureau of National Investigations, who will remain invisible. The IGP added. He also noted that 6,178 flashpoints have been identified nationwide. I have already said that we have a deep commitment to preventing crime from happening. But where they do happen, we will arraign the offenders, do the investigations, gather the necessary evidence, and get them prosecuted successfully, he assured. Thank you so much. Now, these are the words of the IGP, Inspector General of Police. Now, the whole police service is under this honorable man. Listen, on election day, he says, he is going to deploy 62,794 officers to go underground and make sure there is no trouble. It is sad. My brother, my sister, critical thinking. I advocate that every now and then. Until the youth of this country start to think critically. Until our educational system encourages critical thinking rather than chew and pour. Read it, memorize it, write it out, pass or exam and forget it. This country will never change. This country will never grow. This country will never improve. Politicians will continue to give you little carrots for you to sell your birthright to them every now and then. Listen to what the IGP is saying. Critical thinking. 62,794 people are going to be unleashed on a nation of about 30 million people. What can 62,794 police and soldier and whoever do to a population of about 30 million people? What point am I making? You will not see a publication like this in the American press. You will not see a publication like this, my brother, my sister, in the British press. Neither would you see this, my brother, my sister, in the German press. The people are grown to love and respect their laws, think critically, and be patriotic. But when you live in a country where politicians are on a field spree of corruption and expenditure at the expense of the taxpayer, it's only when it's a few days to election that they come to you and give you some little thing for you to sell your bet right. This is why a publication like this is necessary. My brother, my sister, let us think critically. If this was the American elections, of course the American elections are going on. Did you see a publication like this? Did they tell you how many police people were on the streets? Did they tell you the number of soldiers who would be out there? Did they warn the people that, hey, election is coming, on election day, we are going to shoot and kill and prosecute and blah, blah, boom, 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 boom. Anybody who foments trouble, they know it already. They have been taught that. They've been taught to think critically. They've been taught to use their brain. The system is working. Employment is working. Everybody is making money. I go to America and I put people out there and I want to buy them a drink. They tell me I can buy the drink myself. Some of the poorest people you see on the streets of Germany, some of the poorest people you see on the streets of America, on the streets of England, on the streets of China, my brother, my sister, you offer to buy them a drink. They look at you and they ask you why you want to buy them a drink. First and foremost, they see it as an insult that you want to imply that they are so poor they can't buy a drink for themselves. Walk on the streets of Ghana. Offer to or buy a drink. Even rich people will leave their houses and come and take your free drink because we live in a country where there is no independence. We claim we are independent because we have a national flag. We claim we are independent because we have a national anthem which we sing and don't even understand. We claim we have a national pledge which 99% of the citizenry cannot even recite. My brother, my sister, but politicians are those who are stealing all the money. And our people are so dumb and stupid that they never understand that, yes, these politicians mean nothing good till election is coming. Just see what happened a few days back. After destroying the creative arts, politicians running helter-skelter, campaigning in these coronavirus times with no masks, nothing like hand sanitizers, to millions of supporters. Yet musicians cannot go out and perform before even 500 people, all because of the coronavirus. As if the coronavirus is blind to politicians and only visible to musicians. But musicians have come out to support such politicians, selling their bet right, my brother, my sister, to politicians, all because of some little something that they have decided to take. We have said it time and again, there is an African balance that where the stomach is concerned, wisdom evaporates. Where the stomach is concerned, wisdom evaporates. Listen, Donald Trump is in America and he knows all the tricks. Election is coming. He decides to buy bread, packaged bread, some apples and a few things with a letter, and he is concentrating on the poor black people. Sending all the so-called goodies, apples and eggs to them. After all, he has told you already that you guys are shitholish. Once your belly is full, you refuse to reason. You don't use your brain as long as your belly is full. Where the stomach is concerned, my brother, my sister, wisdom evaporates. So he is concentrating on the black areas, giving them food to eat, to buy their birthright. My brother, my sister, I'm so ashamed of this publication. 62,794 security personnel are out there to fight for mentors of trouble during the elections. What is this number? If all the people agree and gang up against these people, they will finish them like mosquitoes in no time. It doesn't matter how many guns they hold. It doesn't matter how many what they hold. What matters is that majority carries the vote. But where the majority has sold its birthright, where the majority refuses to use the brain to know that they really have the power, not the politician, this is where this publication is important. My brother, my sister, when are we going to sit back as a people and use our brains? When are we going to sit back as a people and encourage a Joshua generation? A generation of young and powerful people, not a generation of old kleptomaniacs in power. Kleptocracy, stealing democracy, stealing governments every now and then. When will the young people sit up, make friends, come together to think? When young people come together, then they are coming together to eat and drink and do foolish things. They are not getting together to reason, use their brains and look into the future. No, the youth think that they have 1,000,000 years ahead of them. Little did they know that very soon they will be knocking on the doors of the grave. 62,794 security personnel. IGP is so happy. He's drumming and hitting the gong gong all over the place. Yes, 62,000. What is 62,000 to a population of 30 million people? This is nothing. But where there is peace and order, you don't even need this number. Where there is peace and order, you don't need this number. It's time for the youth to start rejecting the politicians. It's time for the youth to sit and think for themselves. It's time for the youth to refuse to allow people to think for them. You have your brains. It's an insult to yourself and God that you can't use your brain. Use your brain. Think, my brother, my sister. I pray for peaceful elections. I know that anytime it's elections, it's like wartime. What is this foolishness in Africa? Every time there is election, it's like a war zone. People are beginning to stash food. People are beginning to buy food and store that, or better still, hoard that, so that the envisaged war, as long as it starts to begin, then they start to fall on the food that they've bought. Is this true or false? How many people are beginning to buy food to stack away? How many people are hoarding food? How many people are beginning to go get visas? How many people are already deciding to leave the country? How many people will not even come out on election day for fear that some stray bullet will split their heads into two? Why? When it comes to election, it's war. Police is already warning. We have our men on the ground and they are well equipped. They know what it is. We have discovered these flashpoints and we're going to deal with that. What is this? Because as long as there is peace, politicians will be very uncomfortable. The politicians love it when there is war. They love it when there's chaos. As long as there is chaos, they can use that to rule us forever. That is what we call divide and rule. They learned it from the slave master who came in and set us against each other. Whilst we were busily fighting, they were stealing the gold and the diamond and the bauxite. But in these times, they don't only steal the bauxite, the gold, and the diamond, they also thief out the taxpayers' money. Hopelessness staring our cringing brows. Hopelessness lingering on our country. I know we shall have a peaceful election. The youth must think. You go on a walk, you throw stones at each other, beat each other, yet the man who is stealing your future is sitting somewhere and watching you and laughing. Idiots and fools. Idiots and fools. How much will they give you that you will not need money anymore? How much food will they give you now that you will not eat again? Think twice and remember the Rwandan saying, my brother, my sister, it is. Where the stomach is concerned, wisdom evaporates. Think well. Think very well, my brother, my sister. And get to know that The stomach politics is killing us. Until we dash away the stomach politics, we will continue to behave like animals, beating each other for the man who is stealing our future. I'll leave that. I'm going to tackle the next thing. The special pretender, better say the special postmaster, is at it again. Now this man is one of the most hopeless we have had in this country, Martin Amidu. I'm so ashamed of this man. We were those who came out and made a lot of noise about Martin Amidu. We were those who said that, listen, for Nana Addo to be very strong and powerful enough to say that I'm picking somebody from the opposition party to whip into line all the corrupt people, my God, he deserves commendation. Little did we know that he's brought in another stooge. Another man who has sold out his birthright. As for Martin Amidu, if I had anybody in my family called Amidu, I would disown him to go and live with Martin Amidu. Your legacy has become so dirty. Martin Amidu, your legacy has become so smelly, dirty, that when you leave the shores of this country one day, we will remember you as a man who sold your birthright to incompetence and tomfoolery. Martin Amidu has presented a document to the parliament. He gave it to the president. And they're supposed to forward it to the parliament. And it is all about the Ejapa royalties. He thinks that it is corrupt. We knew that long ago. We didn't even need you to tell us that. You took too long on that. You were sleeping at the job. You were still. No wonder he's a retired man who has been brought back. That is why we need a Joshua revolution. Now, what are we hearing? Ejapa royalties. Then we are told that somewhere there's a paragraph that says that Mahama would have been prosecuted had it not been the elections and all that. Hallelujah. Where is the full reportage on the Airbus issue? Martin Amidu has disappointed everybody in this country, and the earlier debate, I don't know why he's still in post. They should send him to Avedakpa. The next village is called Aveposmonu, where the first post office was, my brother, my sister, in the history of the Volta region. Aveposmonu, he should be the postmaster of Aveposmonu. And that will be better for us as a people. Special pretender, special postmaster is over there and is making a mockery of himself. He's become a bigger comedian than Bawumia. Martin Amidu has become a bigger comedian. In fact, listen, Mr. Bean will look at Martin Amidu and retire totally from comedy, because Martin Amidu is his great-grandfather when it comes to comedy. Ejapa royalties, report on that. All of a sudden, there's a paragraph that says, Mahama would have been prosecuted. It looks like you now want to play to the gallery. It looks like now you want to just do something, some knee-jerk reactions, ad hoc, unthinking episodes. You want to throw out to the people to be able to shake the waters and hide behind the storm and laugh. You're a disappointment. I wonder how you'll be able to salvage yourself. The other day he said he was a better corruption fighter when he was not in the office. Now, he also wrote that they are not able to employ full-time people in his office. They only employ them on contract, and because there's no office. What a joke. What a joke. Martin Amidu says that he doesn't have enough office space to be able to employ people, so they employ them on temporal basis, employ you, come and work for some time, and they send you away. Do you want a mansion? Or do you want the cathedral to be named after you, so you will sit in the whole cathedral before you can fight corruption? You are a joker. These are the people who make so much noise, empty barrels. They make the most noise. As for Nana Addo, he's done nothing wrong. He brought in a man who was supposed to stand and fight corruption. But this man is sitting down and caressing corruption. He's caressing it and giving in fact, he's giving corruption orgasm. I don't have enough office space. I cannot employ enough people to come and work. So I employ them on temporary basis and then they go away and be bickering, nagging, special postmaster. Bickering, nagging, arrogant, special postmaster of Ave Postmonu. I'll leave it here. My brother, my sister, well, Mama says he's very disappointed. And he said some things. I think you deserve to listen to that.
Amidu goes and presents a Japa shares, a Japa investigation. And I thought he was man enough. You go, they say, investigate a Japa. Present a report in a Japa. If you've investigated Airbus, present a report on Airbus. But in the Japa report, you know that it's going to be damning of this government. You go and put one paragraph there about Airbus. Nobody asked you about Airbus. If you were man enough, present a Japan and do a report on Airbus, separate. And then I'll come as a man and answer you on Airbus. If you think that I'm indicted on Airbus, accuse me directly. But because he's a coward, and they knew that a Japa was going to be discussed today, because he was a coward, and he knew that they were going to discuss a Japa, so put a paragraph on Airbus to equalize the discussion. I mean, what stupidity is this? You are investigating a Japa. Present a report in a Japa. Why? Because you know a Japa is going to be discussed. You've indicted the president's cousin as finance minister, and you're afraid that you are presenting only a report on a Japa. So in the Japa report, put some other reports that balance the equation. I thought he was man enough. Come out. The point is, you say I'm the leader of a political party. I say, if you have a legal basis for investigating me, go ahead and investigate me. If you have a legal basis for investigating me, go ahead and investigate me. There's been a DPA, a deferred prosecution agreement. You are not a party to it. You don't know who are involved in it. They've identified some people in it. You don't have an authenticated agreement from SF.
Brother, my sister, I've never heard Mahama speak this angrily. He's talking about some Sakawa group, which caused a lot of confusion and controversy. But I've never heard him use such words as stupidity, coward. It will take only a special postmaster, a special pretender, to be able to invoke all the uncourtesies from the stomach of the ex-president. A joke of a special postmaster. I'm so disgraced. When this man was coming to power, I called the chief of his village, Sandema. Put him online live. All of you guys heard him. Oh, now the country is going to change. Oh, the country is going to change. Everything is going to be okay. This man, we people from Sandema, we don't take nonsense. We like to deal with the matter the way it is. I said, oh, congratulations. A year and a half after he was in office, I called the same chief. I want us to talk about, so far, what you think about Martin Amidu. Phone dead. No response anymore. Everybody is disappointed. Everybody is disappointed. Why has Martin Amidu become a laughing stock? Because he decided to play to the gallery. Because he's arrogant. He's always shout. Look at when he was even being vetted. Shouting at people and ordering people to respect him and so on and so forth. Respect is not shouted for. Respect is commanded. I don't know how you'll be able to pull back yourself from this mess. But all in all, you have disgraced yourself. We will take you to Ave Postmonu. You'll be the postmaster. That's if they will allow you. My brother, my sister, I leave it here. To God be the glory. Yes, Mahama was so angry. Now, I want to ask Mahama. Mahama, 2 days ago, you said when you come into power, you retain the coward, the stupid Martin Amidu. In his own words, I didn't say it. I'll play it back. You hear those words. He's a coward. He's stupid. So, Mahama, you want to keep the stupid, the coward Martin Amidu? You didn't know that he was all these qualities. You see how our politicians sometimes can behave like idiots. You saw it right from the start. That yes, this man is incapable. This man is incompetent. This man is whatever words. I will never use those words on this man. Never. I will not do that. But you still said when you come into office, you will maintain him. Now you are calling him a coward. Now you are calling him stupid. Mahama, Jinaye, you are also almost becoming something I don't want to say. Be careful. Be careful. I have dreamt 6 times that you are president. People don't want to hear this. 6 times that you have become president. And that when you become president, you shall bring 500 Ghana cedi note, purple in color, dark purple. I dream a lot. I'm a dreamer. Everybody dreams. If you don't dream, then there's something wrong. Even babies dream. If this is how you want to get into power, Dabi, Jinaye. I want to also say thank you to the president in power, Nana Addo. You know why? I traveled to the Volta region over the weekend and I went through Tema. And I realized that the motorway area, you know, some nice road works happened there. Remember, we say we give credit where credit is due. And then the circle area had not been there for some time because of traffic. I passed that place too, and I saw some nice work, going on there. It's beautiful. But the same question comes. Why do you wait till election? Then you push all these things. Knee-jerk reactions and decisions every now and then in your desperation to be able to get votes. Of course, Mahama also built the circle there, also in election time. Why do you guys do that? Any which way, my name Blakk Rasta. Listen to what Mahama said about Martin Amidu, that he wants to keep in power when he comes to power.
Amidu goes and presents a Japa shares, a Japa investigation. And I thought he was man enough. You go, they say, investigate a Japa. Present a report in a Japa. If you've investigated Airbus, present a report on Airbus. But in the Japa report, you know that it's going to be damning of this government. You go and put one paragraph there about Airbus. Nobody asked you about Airbus. If you were man enough, present a Japa and do a report on Airbus, separate. And then I'll come as a man and answer you on Airbus. If you think that I'm indicted on Airbus, accuse me directly. But because he's a coward, and they knew that a Japa was going to be discussed today, because he was a coward, and he knew that they were going to discuss a Japa, so put a paragraph on Airbus to equalize the discussion. What stupidity is this? You are investigating a Japa. Present a report in a Japa. Why? Because you know a Japa is going to be discussed. You've indicted the president's cousin as finance minister, and you're afraid that you are presenting only a report on a Japa. So in the Ejapa report, put some other reports that balance the equation.
The heartbeat of Accra.
Present Ejapa.
Zylofon
and
FM.
do a report
Lock
on
it in. Lock
Airbus,
it in.
separate. And then I'll come as a man and answer you on Airbus. If you think that I'm indicted on Airbus, accuse me directly. But because he's a coward, 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 and they knew that Ejapa was going to be discussed today, is because he was a coward and he knew that they were going to discuss Ejapa. So put a paragraph on Airbus to equalize the discussion. I mean, what stupidity is this? 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 But because he's a coward and they knew that Ejapa was going to be discussed today, I mean, what stupidity is this? I mean, what stupidity is this? I mean, what stupidity is this? But because he's a coward, I mean, what stupidity is this? But because he's a coward, I mean, what stupidity is this? 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 But because he's a coward, I mean, what stupidity is this? But because he's a coward, I mean, what stupidity is this? But because he's a coward, I mean, what stupidity is this? I mean, what stupidity is this? But because he's a coward, I mean, what stupidity is this? I mean, what stupidity is this? I mean, what stupidity is this?
Okay. These are not my words. Special postmaster directed at American elections. Donald Trump is struggling. Donald Trump is going home. Racist as America can be, even the racists are tired of the race master. The champion racist, Donald Trump, earlier in the day, he said he had won the elections. He had won the elections. And Twitter had to come in and block his comment and say, listen, this is misleading and it's about an elections and therefore will not allow that. Donald Trump has become the only president whose tweets are always flagged in America. My brother, my sister, after calling us a shithole continent, shithole Nigeria decided to celebrate Trump. They went on the streets dancing and celebrating Trump. Everybody has that opinion. And Trump decided to say, listen, even in Africa I'm being celebrated. Nigeria, you have disgraced Africa. You have disgraced yourself. A man who calls you shithole. You decided to name a whole street in Nigeria after him. And as if that was not enough, you decided to go on the streets dancing and heralding the second coming of a racist, Donald Trump. Well, you have your opinion. I don't fight people's opinions. It's your opinion. If this is how you want to run your country, SARS will continue to shoot you down. SARS will continue to fire left, right, and center. Because you guys are not using your brains. Donald Trump has done nothing for you but insult you from morning till night. Shithole. People we don't want here. Nigeria is one of the countries Trump is refusing to allow into America. Yes. And we are celebrating him. For what? Rather go and celebrate your heroes. Celebrate your heroes. Rather than this villain. Whatever it is, Trump is losing and is beginning to throw tantrums already. Remember before the elections he said, if he doesn't win the elections, he will not accept the results. Such a bigot. Listen, if I don't win the elections, I am not going to accept the results. And true to his words, he's losing and he says he's heading towards the Supreme Court. Listen to him.
We were getting ready to win this election. Frankly, we did win this election. And all of a sudden, everything just stopped. This is a fraud on the American public. This is an embarrassment to our country. It's also clear that we have won Georgia. If they're never going to catch us, they can't catch us. Likewise, we've clearly won North Carolina. But most importantly, we're winning Pennsylvania by a tremendous amount of votes. We want the law to be used in a proper manner. So we'll be going to the U.S. Supreme Court. We want all voting to stop. We don't want them to find any ballots at 4 o'clock in the morning and add them to the list, okay? It's a very sad moment. To me, this is a very sad moment, and we will win this, and as far as I'm concerned, we already have won it. So I just want to thank you, and I want to thank all of our support. I want to thank all of the people that worked with us.
The voice of desperation. How many of you think that Trump speaks like Jim Jones? When I listen to Trump speak in this tape, it just reminds me of Jim Jones. Maybe I should play a Jim Jones tape so that you will hear how Jim Jones sounds. And then you try to bring that. My brother, my sister. My God. What is this? Lord God have mercy. Jim Jones. Yes, Jim Jones. Maybe I should play that so that you will hear the voice of Jim Jones and you will be able to compare it to the voice of, I don't know. Why? I will not even waste no time. Anyway, my name is Blakk Rasta. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I bless you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's been the Blakk Pot, a.k.a. Kuku Shonomo, where we speak truth to power. We don't like to criticize, but if we must criticize, we only criticize to build, not to destroy. My brother, my sister, time now for a consciously thinking generation. We have to build that generation, the critical thinking generation, the Joshua generation. Critical thinking generation, where the youth will subject almost everything to reasoning. When we reason and control our stomachs, this country will be heaven. But if we let loose our stomach to go on a wild goose chase, my brother, at that same time, our wisdom will evaporate. As long as we allow and let loose our stomachs to go on a wild goose chase, our wisdom will evaporate. If we do not subject all these things to critical thinking, as the youth, my brother, my sister, we will be in a country that will be defined as a dumb country. Any Tom, Dick, and Harry can come with a carrot dangling in front of you. And because you have let loose your stomach on a wild goose chase, your wisdom will evaporate. And you'll go after that carrot, not looking onto the ground to see that deep hole that is awaiting your carcass. My name is Blakk Rasta. I appreciate you.